Welcome back to the channel, guys. Here we go with one of your favorite videos of every season. I'm adding in a little bonus for you guys this season. I'm gonna pick who you're gonna reach for, why, and why it's stupid that you're gonna reach for them, and also who you should take instead. So without further ado, let's kick it off with the Jer Bear, who recently woke up from his hibernation, actually saying some stuff in the group chat. Way to go, Jared. Jared, of course, is going to reach for Kenyon Drake. The reason why, I mean, it's obvious. Kenyon Drake is a Dolphin. Jared loves the Dolphins. I don't know why, but he's going to keep reaching. He's going to make sure he gets his Dolphin to cheer for. So in the third round or so, he's going to take Kenyon Drake. Who you should draft instead? Literally almost anybody. At this point, I'd take Carlos Hyde before Kenyon Drake. Don't do it, Jared. I'm telling you, just pass. You're not going to listen, but pass on Kenyon Drake. Jason, you are going to draft the Crow. And we've talked about it many times. Jason just loves the Crow. He has an unnatural love for Isaiah Crowell. It's kind of creepy. It's a little weird. Why it's stupid? The Crow is useless. I think he's useless. I think he's just good enough to never be able to justify dropping him, and not quite good enough to ever justify putting into your lineup. So he's just a bad pick all the way around. Who you should draft instead? Duke Johnson. Hear me out. Listen. Hear me out. Duke Johnson has three straight 1,000-yard seasons from scrimmage. Duke Johnson has one of the safest floors that there is in fantasy, and I'm not convinced with how crappy Nick Chubb has looked this preseason that if something were to happen to Carlos Hyde, and spoiler alert, it always does, Duke Johnson wouldn't be the guy. Duke Johnson might be their lead back at some point this year. So Duke Johnson, sneaky, reliable, good source of flex production week in and week out. Take him. Don't take the Crow. Reese, I got a quick one for Reese because it's kind of an easy one to predict. So this one's kind of a layup. But Reese is going to reach for Cooper Kupp. Why? Because he's a Rams fan and he thinks Cooper Kupp is better than he actually is. Why it's stupid? I'm going to let you stick with the Rams here, Reese. Brandon Cooks is way better than Cooper Kupp, and he's a similar build. He's going to eat into Kupp's looks a lot more than Sammy Watkins did. And if you follow the money, you should be drafting Brandon Cooks, not Cooper Kupp. Draft Brandon Cooks. Stay away from Kupp. Now, Rich, yours was a fairly easy one to predict. You're going to be the guy that takes the Jags defense. You're going to take them way too early. Why it's stupid. We've been through this a million times. You guys know this. It's never a good idea to draft a defense early. The Jags have what appears to be on paper a very good defense. You know who appeared to have a great defense on paper last year? The Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs, both of which finished with horrendously bad defenses. And in the Texans' case, they finished as the worst defense in the league. So, yeah, I get it. The Jags have a lot of talent on that defense. It's just too hard to predict defense from year to year. The volatility is outrageous, extremely difficult to predict. You should not be spending your 10th round selection on a defense. And that's why I think the price tag is going to be to get the Jags. It's a bad idea. Instead, draft any other running back, wideout, tight end, or QB with a pulse. Draft somebody else, somebody that has any semblance of maybe being able to do something for you, because I can almost guarantee you the Jags will not be the number one defense in fantasy this year. That's just not the way defense works in fantasy. So don't take the Jags D early. It's a bad investment. Don't do it. Matt Merz. So, and this, mind you, this is contingent on Matt actually showing up to the draft. So Matt is going to be the guy that takes Amari Cooper. Why is he going to take Amari Cooper? Because he's going to look at the ranking sheet and Amari Cooper is going to be the top wideout on the board because none of the rest of us want anything to do with him because we all played fantasy last season, and we remember that Amari Cooper is arguably the worst receiver that's ever laced up his boots. So I think that why it's stupid to take Amari Cooper. Look, John Gruden is saying all the right things. He's saying that Amari Cooper is going to be the centerpiece of the passing attack, this, that, and the other. However, actions speak louder than words. Would they have paid Jordy Nelson a ton of money to come in? Would they have traded for Martavis Bryant, which they traded away a third-round selection? That's not cheap draft capital. They brought in these two guys at extremely high capital to make the wide receiver situation better. So obviously they don't have that much faith in Amari Cooper. So he's a terrible selection at where he's going. Instead, I'm going to throw this out there. You can get these guys later than him. Draft his current teammate, Jordy Nelson, or his previous teammate, Michael Crabtree. They're both going to do better than him. By the way, quick little stat for you guys. Amari Cooper has never outscored Michael Crabtree in fantasy since he came to the Raiders. So he's not going to be – he has not been the number one receiver on his team yet, and he won't be. He won't be. It's going to be Jordy Nelson. So there you go, Jordy Nelson and Michael Crabtree. Joe, once again, kind of some low-hanging fruit here. Joe's going to take Kirk Cousins. And look, Kirk Cousins, I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I don't hate him. He's fine as a backup option, but he's going as a starter. And he's on a team that, simply put, just does not have to score that often. They're not going to be playing from behind. Cousins, I get it. You look at his numbers with the Redskins and you're saying, oh, he has more weapons with the Vikings. Yes, that's true. But more weapons does not necessarily mean more production. He has more weapons, but when he was with the Redskins, he was down by 20 at the half every week. They were running 4 and 5 wideouts, just chucking and ducking every week. That's not going to be the case in Minnesota. I expect him to have a career low in pass attempts over a full season. Instead of Kirk Cousins, just spend the price and get Drew Brees. Quit screwing around, Joe. Don't make the same mistake you made last year. Take Drew Brees. He's as safe as it gets. You took a year off from him. Get him back. Now, Tony Jr. Jimmy Graham. That's who you're going to take. You're going to take Jimmy Graham. Everybody knows it because you're a Packers mark and you're a Jimmy Graham mark. It's like the perfect storm that you might spend a second-round pick on this guy. Look, it's not that Jimmy Graham has no upside here. It's just that he's extremely touchdown dependent on a team with a QB who historically doesn't throw to the tight end very often. In fact, only one tight end in the past 10 years in Green Bay has topped 5 touchdowns, and that guy was Richard Rodgers, who got 8. So instead, don't mess around at tight end. If you whiff and you don't get Gronk or Kelsey or Ertz, play it safe, snag a Delaney Walker or a Greg Olsen. They're time-tested, great options that aren't relying on catching 2 touchdowns to get in the double digits in points. I can almost promise you Jimmy Graham will have at least one game this year where he catches a touchdown and does not score double-digit points. That's going to happen. So on to Steve. Steve is going to reach and take Deshaun Watson. He's not going to be able to resist the upside. It's so tantalizing. He's going to reach Deshaun Watson. Why it's stupid? Number one, because every move Steve makes is stupid. Just look at his trash talk. It's just gone so far downhill. It's just horribly dumb. Can't even keep up with what people are trying to say to him. Doesn't understand basic English at this point. He made a joke about getting Rosetta Stone for something about speaking Spanish. We might need to get him Rosetta Stone for speaking English. It's that bad. That being said, why it's stupid to take Deshaun Watson? Because you're going to draft him over everybody but Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. That's why it's stupid. Instead, draft Russell Wilson. Even you shouldn't be able to screw this up. Russell Wilson, draft him, be happy. Done deal. Tony Sr., I'm going to go back to Green Bay again for the second time to say Jamal Williams. Now, no, Jamal Williams doesn't have a huge price tag. So you may be thinking, well, how can that be a reach? Because Senior's going to take him earlier than he should to make sure he gets his Packer running back. Why it's stupid? Packers running backs suck. To boot, Aaron Jones is better than Jamal Williams. Aaron Jones is just flat better than him. Don't let your fanhood get in the way here. Take Marlon Mack. Now, hear me out again. Hear me out. I know you guys are all thinking Marlon Mack, he's not worth drafting at all. His price tag's way down there. That's true. He's hurt right now. But nobody has stepped up in his absence. I believe that by virtue of him not being there, he's actually cemented his job as the number one running back there. You got Nyheim Hines fumbling 4 times. Every time he touches the ball, he's putting it on the ground. Jordan Wilkins put one on the ground in the end zone the other day. They've both been horrible as far as yards per carry goes. They're not any threat to Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack's going to be a 3-down back on what is likely to be a solid offense. Much safer selection, and you can basically get him for free. Not anymore because I just told you guys this. But Marlon Mack, 10th, 11th round, that's who you're targeting. You're not targeting Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams' price tag should be in the 12th or 13th round. It's too early for me. Now, on to me lastly. I am going to take, you guys all know, J-Ho, Jordan Howard, because I'm a Bears fan, and I love Jordan Howard. So, why it's stupid? It's stupid because of the guys I'm going to have to pass to get him. So there's 3 or 4 guys that have higher ceilings, and some even have a higher floor as well that I'm going to bypass to take Jordan Howard, and I know this. But I feel like I'm so much better than the rest of you that I can make up the difference elsewhere. So who I should draft instead but won't? Jerick McKinnon. Stop going away from the screen. Listen, Jerick McKinnon. Hear me out. Matt Breida is out right now. This is a Kyle Shanahan offense that turns water into wine at the running back position. Consider what known trash bag Carlos Hyde did in this offense last season. Jerick McKinnon is better than Carlos Hyde. They paid him like a top-flight running back. McKinnon is going to produce a ton. He's going to get a ton of opportunity in this offense. He's going later than he should in mock drafts at his current late 3rd round price tag. Give me some shares of McKinnon. But alas, I will not get him because I will be spending my draft capital on Jordan Howard. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Questions, comments, concerns. We are only 1 week away from the pre-draft festivities kicking off, and then the actual draft week and a day. So I will see you guys next Saturday for the draft.